Clawdbot has taken the AI world by storm, and for good reason, because it's probably one of the closest things to a personal AI agent that you can use and bring with you on your phone. And although it is definitely not AGI despite what you might see online, it is also not entirely useless. So in this video, I'll teach you in the simplest way possible what Clawdbot, now also known as Moltbot, actually is, what it can do based on stress testing it since its release, and how to set it up step by step in a way that's more secure, more simple, and much cheaper than having to buy a Mac Mini. Let's get started. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Jay. I spent a decade in creative and marketing work and half a decade leading data teams. I'm now operating our AI creative agency and RoboNuggets, our education arm, where we have several hundred members, all AI practitioners across the globe. And here our mission is to make creating with AI easy to learn for anyone, with AI training and certification that most people join for, but most members stay because of the strong community we have built. So if you're in the AI space and you've been online lately, you probably have heard of Clawdbot at this point, which if you just look at Google Trends, it has already eclipsed the search interest for N8N and even Claude Code. Now, needless to say, I think the way that Clawdbot was launched is, suffice to say, quite rough. Because as expected, Anthropic, who owns the Claude brand, wasn't too happy with Clawdbot sounding very similar to the name of their AI model. And so literally just a few hours ago, Clawdbot had to rebrand everything into Moltbot, which just lends itself more to the confusion about this tool. On top of that, there were some issues they had when they migrated the name, where apparently during the name change, the old Clawdbot X and GitHub accounts were taken over by bad actors, but since have now been resolved from what I gather. So that was quite a mess yesterday, but that is not the topic of this video. If you want the full story there's a solid article that I linked below that breaks it down quite clearly. Also, if you go to their website, which is now molt.bot, to be honest, when I first saw this, I wasn't too convinced at the beginning that it's an actual working tool, just because the homepage design itself looks quite unpolished, let's say, but because it's garnering interest and a lot of people do want to learn what you can use it for and at least how to try it safely and securely, then I thought to try it out myself so we can make this video and you can make that informed decision of trying it out yourself. And just as a final point before we dive into the use cases, what's also interesting about Clawdbot or Moltbot is that it is open source. So it was created by Peter, this person. But if you look here at GitHub, which is sort of like the Google Docs, but for developers, where they upload all of their code and collaborate, you can see there's already hundreds of people working on this in order to make it better. And this is quite interesting to me because if you look back into the early 2000s, you can remember that when the internet was still maturing, the internet browser, for which the incumbent was Internet Explorer, there was an open source tool that came about as well, which was Mozilla Firefox, which eventually spawned Google Chrome, which most of us are using today. And it's obviously not a perfect parallel, but interesting nonetheless, because now we do have a lot of incumbents around AI, ChatGPT included, and now we have this open source tool that is gaining a lot of traction as we speak. And if it does prove successful over the next few weeks to months, I'm pretty sure that the big companies like Google, Anthropic, and even OpenAI will launch something of this nature of their own. And that's useful for you because now you have a decision to just wait for these new tools that are launched by these bigger providers. Or if you have the time and do want to test it out, I think it is actually quite good to at least try out this new Clawdbot or Moltbot tool and form your own opinion on where it's headed while also doing it securely. So now let's go to some use cases that I tried with it so far. First, to recap, if you have used chatbots like ChatGPT, you can see Clawdbot, which I have here set up on my Telegram, functions quite similarly where when you ask it a question, it gives you a reply back. But what's different about AI agents like Clawdbot is the fact that whereas if you ask ChatGPT to create, let's say, a video for your brand, what it will likely do is give you some prompts and some how-to instructions of how to do it yourself. So it gives you the actions to do, while an AI agent does the actions for you. So to give an example, a common use case we have is on editing videos. So what I did here is give it this 2-minute long video, and I wanted Moltbot to do two things. One is for it to research B-roll footage and overlay it on top of this video. And the second thing is to try and clip shorts from this long-form footage, deciding which parts are relevant and clipping them on its own. And previously, in order to do something like this, obviously you have the option of using your video editing tools. Or in our previous lessons, we also showed how to use tools like FFmpeg in order to somehow automate these sorts of tasks. But that is obviously more complex versus just having to instruct your agent to do this for you. Now, when you try and use Moltbot for your specific use case, for sure you will encounter some issue at some point that you will need to troubleshoot. Interestingly, for us, because Telegram's file size limit is 5 megabytes, it wasn't actually able to send that, which is a Telegram limitation. And here you can see me working with it in order to find a solution. And immediately what it suggested is for it to create an interface where it can just upload the videos so that this file size limit won't be a problem for us in the future. And so here you can see I asked it to create a file sharing folder, which it was able to do with no problem. But you can see here on the left that it does work. This is the video, but it is quite basic. So I just gave it that feedback where I said that this file folder looks really basic and can you make it to the design of robolabs.so, which is our website. And it did that pretty well. You can see it's miles ahead from where we started. But what's important is that it works. And you can see here that the files, whenever it needs to upload a video, it also uploads it here so that we have proper documentation and archiving of that work. Now, before we look at some of the output here, I just wanted to call out some of the things that it does really well. And one of them is autonomously equipping itself with the tools that it needs to use in order to achieve the task that we gave it. So here, for example, you can see that it installed FFmpeg on its own because it knows that that is what it needs in order to cut videos automatically. And the difference with Clawdbot is that now that this is installed, it will be able to use it for future instances when we need to cut long form into shorts. Another example is that because it needs to know what is being said on the video, it needed a tool in order to transcribe what is being said, right? And so what it did after asking permission from me is to install a tool called Whisper, which basically lets it hear or transcribe what is being said in the video so that it can analyze it and propose which parts of a long form video to cut. And so if you look at some of the results, what it did autonomously is identify which parts of the video is good to clip. It was able to clip that specific parts using FFmpeg and also cropped it to have a vertical format. And so this is just one example.
AI doesn't understand what a sandwich is. It cannot taste peanut butter. It simply knows that in the vast map of language it has built, these symbols usually appear in this specific order. It's calculating, not comprehending.
So for an initial trial, that is actually really impressive. That said, though, when you think about AI agents, you can think of them as your new employees. And when they're doing these tasks for the first time, it is very likely that they will fail sometimes. So for example, I also asked Clawdbot actually to burn subtitles into these videos. It was only able to do it for one of them. And if you look at this, it's obviously not ideal because it's covering the whole video. But if this is a use case that you want to take further, what's important is that you can imagine how you can give feedback to Clawdbot for it to improve itself in how it does this specific task, and then ask it to package it into a skill so that it can call on that skill and it knows and remembers what to do the next time you need to cut a long form into shorts. And just to give a concrete, simple example, here what I ask it to do is to send me a reminder on a specific time to see if it will do that. It confirmed that it will do that, but it did not do it. So that happened for the first instance. It was able to self-correct and fix itself. And the next time I tried it out, it was able to now do it successfully. And so that simple illustration is a great thing to keep in mind whenever you need Clawdbot to do more complex tasks. So for example, when we ask Clawdbot to search for B-rolls for us, these are the ones that it was able to search for, which is again quite impressive for the first instance. But if you're really creating for production, you can probably ask it to look for better B-roll than these. But just to test it out, what I did is just approve all of those, ask it to overlay it on the video. On its very first try, it did it poorly because I guess I didn't give instructions on where to put it. But as I gave it more feedback, it was slowly but surely able to get to where I want, where you have the B-roll, do a hard cut instead of having it overlaid on top of the video. And so here, my main takeaway is if you want to test this out for yourself, think of a specific use case that you want it to do, give it that challenge and work with it a bit in order to find an output that you want. And then because Moltbot has a really good way to store memory, what you can now do is just ask it to remember what it did so that the next time you talk to it, it will know what good looks like, just like an actual new employee would learn. Now, to be clear, several of the capabilities I talked about can be done by a tool like Claude Code if you've used that before. But for this specific domain, you can see how Clawdbot living inside a messaging app like Telegram has its advantages. For one, in Telegram, using Clawdbot, you can preview videos inline, which makes for a smoother experience if you're working with media. So you can just talk to the AI agent to give it feedback about that video, which at the moment you can't do so seamlessly with Claude Code. And also having it on a messaging app like Telegram means you can bring it with you on mobile much easier. So you can literally edit and automate videos or websites or whatever it is that you're working on while you're out for lunch. So knowing that, in case you are interested to try it out, here's one method that you can use, which is not as risky as installing it on your own computer, not as expensive as needing to buy a Mac Mini, and also not as intimidating versus having to learn about AWS. And near the end, I'll also show some tips on how you can make it more secure so that you are more confident while trying out this new tool. And when you set up Clawdbot, basically there's only one prerequisite that you need, and that is for you to decide whether you want to install it on your own computer or another computer. And a good sort of mental model that you can think about is if you were hiring an employee or a new agent, is it good practice for you to give them access to your own computer? For most cases, probably not, right? Especially with an AI tool like Clawdbot that can change your files, that is highly inadvisable, especially if you're not as technical. And so this is why, by the way, over on socials, a lot of people say that they're buying Mac minis because that's one easy way to do it. But obviously, that's quite expensive. And so if you just want to try it out, your best bet would really be to do it via a VPS. And in case you're completely new, a VPS is just a virtual private server. And what that simply means is it's just a server, meaning it's just a computer that lives virtually on the cloud, meaning you don't get it delivered to your house. You don't really physically see it. And it is also private, meaning only you have access to it. And there's several VPS providers that's available now. One is Hostinger, one's Hetzner. So you can choose whichever you want. Personally, we use DigitalOcean, so that's what I'll show in this tutorial. But the process is generally the same no matter which provider you select. And there's basically 3 steps to this, where first we'll set up the VPS. Next, we'll install Clawdbot or Moltbot now in that VPS. And then we'll be optimizing your Clawdbot experience as well as making it a bit more secure. And by the way, if you need this guide where you can just click on the links and also copy these commands, I just made this available below for your reference. But cool, first let's set up the VPS. So if you go to digitalocean.com or whatever VPS that you use, once you sign in, all you need to do to create the VPS is by clicking this create button and click on Droplets, which is essentially DigitalOcean's name for their VPS servers. So in this setup screen is very simple. You just choose the region that is closest to you. And we do that just for latency purposes, as explained by DigitalOcean here. And then if we scroll down, the OS or operating system that we want is this Ubuntu, specifically this 24 LTS or long-term support version. So that's the latest one. So we'll be selecting that. And LTS basically means that it is the one that is most stable. You can just leave the following as default. And here you can see they have different plans. These are in Australian dollars, by the way. So it's much cheaper if you convert them to USD. And as per Clawdbot, it's ideal if you have at least 2 gigs of RAM to run it. And so that's what we would select. And then if you scroll down for the authentication method, ideally, if you continue using Clawdbot, you need to set up your SSH key. But since you're just trying it out, you can just set up your own password here, which is still relatively safe. But obviously, if anyone has your password, they'll be able to log into your account. So once that is all filled in, you can just rename this host so that you have an identifier on what this host is about. And then finally, for you to create this droplet or server, you just need to add in billing details here. So on that billing page, once you have that set up, if we now go back to our setup page, we can now create this droplet or server. And when that is done, if we now go to droplets, we'll be able to find the server we made here. So if we click on that, what we can now do is click on this console button in order to access this server. So it will load for a bit, but once you have it set up properly, you should now see this terminal where you can type in commands like installing Clawdbot. Now, in case you haven't used a terminal before, don't worry because this is less intimidating than it looks. And I'll take you step by step on how to do this in the easiest and simplest way possible. So if we go back to our quick setup guide, the next step now is to install Moltbot in your VPS. And the way the Moltbot team did this is quite simple. All you need to do is to copy this command. And then when you're in the terminal, instead of hitting Ctrl-V like you used to, it is often better to just do a right click and click on paste and then click on enter. And so you can see the installer being run now. And what it will do is just install all of those prerequisites on autopilot in that other server or computer that DigitalOcean is hosting. So this is much safer versus having to install all of these files into your own device. So if we follow along these steps, this should be pretty straightforward now, where it's asking me now if we understand that this is a powerful and inherently risky. So we can just click on left to hit on yes, click on enter. We can just set up the quick start, which is the default. And now we have the choice to use whichever model provider we want. Now it varies depending on which model you already have a subscription to. For our case, we already have a Claude Max subscription with Anthropic, so we'll select that. And if you have a Claude Pro or Max subscription, this is also what you need to select. And you can see when we select that, it's asking us to run Claude Setup Token in our terminal. And this is needed just so that we can link Moltbot into your Claude account. So to do that, all you need is to find the terminal app in your own computer. And when we type that command that was asked of us, Claude Setup Token, what it should now do is open a tab in your browser that lets you authorize this command, which when you authorize that, you will now get this setup token, which we can copy and paste into Moltbot here. You can give it a name if you wish, or just have it as default default. You can select the model that you want to use. For this example, we'll be using Opus 4.5, which is their latest model. And here you have the choice on which messaging platform you want to install Clawdbot to. It's great that they have many options, but if you're just trying this out, I suggest for you to just use Telegram for now, as that is easiest. And here you can see it is asking for a Telegram bot token. And their onboarding here is actually pretty useful. But in case you haven't set up a Telegram bot before, all you need to do is to find this bot fodder, type in new bot. You can give it a name. Let's call it Robo2. And then you can give it a username that ends with bot. If it's already taken, the bot fodder will tell you as well. So you can just choose a new username. And as simple as that, you now have your bot available and you have this setup token here. So if we copy this and just paste it into the Telegram bot token here, after that, you have the option to configure skills now, which is something you can try out if you want. But since this is something that you can do later and also much easier once you have Moltbot running, we can just click no for now. But for these hooks, since they're more simple to set up, you can just select all of them using spacebar and enable all of them. So this is going to just make your Moltbot experience much better. And then once that's all done, you can now click Hatch in TUI or the terminal user interface, which means that now you can chat with Moltbot right within this terminal. So you can see I tapped in hello there and it was able to reply just like a chatbot would. And now what I'll do so that we can get out of the terminal interface and into Telegram is just say that I want to continue in Telegram. Can we do that? You just click on send and it will likely guide me on how to do this. For some reason, it's asking me to set up a new bot. But what I simply said is that's already set up. And now what we need to do is to go to our bot itself, which you can find in the bot fodder's link here. Click on start. And once you receive this message, basically this is a pairing request so that only you can access this specific bot in Telegram. So what I'll do now is to just copy this piece of text, paste it over at Clawdbot. And once I give that pairing code to Clawdbot, it should now be able to pair up successfully with this Telegram bot. So it says it is done. So let's try it out. Hello there. And if you're successful, you should now see Clawdbot typing. And there you go. You now have Clawdbot set up on Telegram and it made the same message as it does in the terminal. So just to confirm, let's ask it, can I close this terminal now? And it says, yes, the gateway is running in the background, which is what we need. So we can now just close this window. Now, in case you do get stuck in any of that terminal setup, the best way to troubleshoot it really is to give the documentation of Clawdbot into your LLM, either ChatGPT or Claude itself, copy the contents of your terminal so that your LLM can inspect it, and it will help you troubleshoot that way. But once you have that set up, the final step now is to optimize your Moltbot experience. And so back in Telegram where we have our Moltbot configured, you can see here it is asking us a few questions just to give it context on the work that you do. And at this point, the best way to use Moltbot is to give it as much context and background on your work so that in the future, it can also help suggest ways to automate your work and your projects. Now, obviously, you can type this out yourself, but one technique that you can use is if you go to any LLM that you usually use that has memory of your interactions, you can just provide this simple prompt, which basically asks, let's say, ChatGPT to write a detailed context about the work that you do. And it will provide that context that you can now paste into Clawdbot. And that way you'll have a ready-made context that you can migrate straight into Clawdbot that you can just send to it. And so now at this point, it's really up to you on what to do with Clawdbot. You can either give it a task directly or you can brainstorm with it on the next project that you want to do. And because we set it up in its own virtual private server, everything that it does will live just within that controlled environment. Now, in case you want to harden the security of Moltbot further, there's a couple of steps that you can do. And here, Daniel summarized the top 10 vulnerabilities of Clawdbot. And so what you can simply do is attach that image to your Clawdbot and tell it to run a security audit against these tips. And then you can just instruct it to address those one by one. And then the other thing is, if you're planning to use Moltbot long-term, it's also important to set up SSH for your server. And if you're using DigitalOcean, they publish this really good guide around setting up Moltbot, which I will also link below. Now, like I said in the beginning, Moltbot is not AGI, but it can be quite powerful. But for most people, it's probably a better idea to just wait for a few more weeks to months for the more established players to launch a more secure version of this same tool. But in case you do want to try it out, then I hope this video was able to guide you better in making that more informed decision. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.